Hello, I'm sorry that this has to be the first video that I'm posting on this platform that is long form, but there's something that needs to be addressed with SODATAB, and I think many of you are aware of what is happening, but for those of you who are not aware of what is happening, there are some extremely serious allegations going on, and I do not want these allegations to be true, but from what it is looking like, they may be true. And I think that is something that needs to be addressed. So let's get into it. This is with SODATAB, which is one of a big Therian creators and such an inspiration to young children, which I'm really not the biggest fan of the fact that it's such an inspiration to young children, especially with what's happening right now, and with Soda posting like sexual dances and sensual stuff. But yes, this is something that needs to be talked about. Words are getting caught in my throat, I'm so sorry. But this will have rape allegations and harassment and abuse and NSFW. Looking more into it yourself, I'll be listing other creators that would be better to look at for information, so please go to them. I will list them at the end of the video. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm sure that by now, if you have anything to do with Therians on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, any of that stuff, then you may know what's happening with SODATAB. If you do not, that's what this video is for. It is informational, it is my opinion. Everything I say here will be my opinion. But SODATAB has done some inexcusable things, has allegations of inexcusable things. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do something. But these things are not okay whatsoever. None of these are. And none of this should be seen as okay. You should never have to be put in a situation like what is happening right now. And if this stuff is being taken out of context, and if this is not true, I do not see why anybody would go through the extent of something this elaborate for trying to take a big creator down. I do not see why this would be happening. I'm not quite sure who all has come forward, but there's proof and there are multiple allegations. So SODATAB is an abuser who has silenced his victims. Is the start of this post. His victims, the only known ones currently are Solar and Vic. Some of Solar's friends have come forward with evidence, and I will put the paragraph right here on my screen if my YouTube allows. And there is lots of evidence, and he has been called an abuser who has silenced his victims with things like fear and other aspects. I will put my paragraphs on the screen. SODATAB has also been accused with sharing NSFW with a 15-year-old, a minor. Mind, SODATAB is a full adult, over the age of 18. I'm pretty sure that he is around the ages of 18 or 20 or somewhere in between. I'm not quite sure. But a 15-year-old, he has been sharing NSFW about his relationship with Solar, has been sharing information like this with a 15-year-old, which is not okay. This is a degree of an extent that should not be crossed ever with relationships, especially for a minor. For a minor to have this information shared with them, somebody that they plausibly both know, or plausibly only one of them knows, but this is something that should not be shared. I will also share the post on the side of my screen. There's this huge paragraph that I will not read all of, but basically Tab cheated on Solar and called to break up with Solar with said person he cheated with in the room and proceeded to, afterwards, choke Solar, put his hands on his neck and choke him. And apparently one of the events was after Solar was raped by a man. Soda told him to go to a friend's house and then proceeded to call him and made Solar comfort him afterwards because Soda, quote, felt bad about the situation and all that. It sounds like absolute bullshit to me, but you know, I feel like I should speak out on this part. But having your partner or somebody you know go to somebody else after they come for you to comfort them is not something that should happen. And then Soda was playing the victim role by crying and making Solar comfort them after traumatic events and things happened. And this is a whole victim complex thingy that I do not support right there. I'll put the paragraph on the side of my screen. There were also some leaked messages from one of Solar's friends, and I will share those on the side of the screen. This, specifically with these messages, these are their private messages that were in fact leaked, so I will not be reading these out loud. I will put them on the side of the screen for you to read. My opinion on these is either one could be at fault right here, but right now Solar is 100% the victim from what I am looking at, from what I am reading. I will be putting that on the side of the screen. There's also an extremely long paragraph that Soda made addressing it. I will be putting paragraphs over here and I will read this whole thing because this is something that is public and something that he has posted. Hi everyone, I'm aware of the allegations in the video that has been circling. I just want to ask you to please do not go looking for it or share it. I want to say something because I feel like some important context has been left out. I wanted to share my perspective, and this is something that occurred between two consenting adults, and at the end of the day, only the two people involved in the relationship know what actually happened. I am really disappointed that a private and vulnerable moment was shared without my consent and has been taken out of context, especially since those involved are aware of the weight of their words. I'm not posting this to blame anyone or encourage harassment. I just want to clarify my side of the situation and how regretful I am that it has come to this point. I will not be elaborating on what exactly happened or why this occurred. This will be the only thing I say about it, and I won't be answering any questions or make any further statements. Okay, so in my opinion, it would be good for Soda if he was making further statements, because if I was him, I would be doing everything I can to prove that I'm not guilty. But this is something that a victim complex is a little bit a part of. It's not a lot. In some parts, it is a victim complex. And Soda, please fight if this isn't true. If it's not, please tell everybody the truth. But context has been left out, is his words, and did not give the context that was left out or any important information that we could use to free him of the claims. But I feel like this is something that must be addressed right now. The fact that they aren't defending themselves and they're talking about how other people's words are not helping the situation. Well, him having so little words on the situation does not help either. Another one of Soda's past relationship partners came forward about things that was shared to them. So their name is Val. Please go check them out. I will put their channel at the end of the video, and please go check them out before you make any assumptions. Please, thank you. So SODATAB does need to come and address the situation, and please be safe online. You never know who you're following, who the person is, because right now I'm with Solar. I'm on Solar's side. I'm not with Soda. And I know I've made videos that has SODATAB, like my edits on this account or my other account that has edits where soda may or may not be present. So I regret those. If I find them in them, I apologize. But that's before all this started circulating. And please be safe, and please do not interact with them. Please do not harass them in the comments, because harassment is never needed when it comes to things like this, for the escalation that is happening. Until it escalates or de-escalates further, we do not need to interact with soda. And Solar has, from my knowledge, taken down everything on like YouTube. I'm not quite sure about TikTok, because I'm not on TikTok or Instagram or any of that. But please be careful online. And I felt this is something I had to address, because I have made videos and I have supported Soda, but no, I no longer support him at the moment. Please be safe, and please don't support him either. Understand everybody has their own opinions. Be careful online. Alright, I love you, my dragons, and goodbye.